Hey Pac, before we get into today's episode, this is Danny here. I forgot to plug this in the main episode. If you're in Brisbane or anywhere in southeast Queensland, I'm doing my show from this year's comedy festival's Hard Nut at the Sit Down Comedy Club this Sunday, 10th of December, 7 o'clock. There are a few tickets left, not too many, so if you want to come down, I would love to see you there. Buy tickets now at go to standup.com.au.
I want attacking purposeful football all the time. Now we're going to have backs against the wall and we're going to fight, and we're going to fight hard. You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
A marvellous kick. That's as good as you'll ever see. And puts Graham back in front.
I don't know about you guys, but if I see one bloke walking out of here, give the pat on the back from people out there for a good effort, I'll spew up.
From inside the centre square, Boyd kicked the goal. Boyd kicked the goal from inside the centre.
Hey Pac, welcome to Danny Boyd, the final Danny Boyd for 2023. What a great year. Year of the dog, we will always know it as. I'm Danny McGinlay. Tom Boyd is with me.
What a year it's been, mate. I mean, I can't even think back to some of the early conversations we had about the year ahead, the litany of hope that we felt about the potential performance of our great club over the course of the men's and the women's seasons. And I must say, we didn't get quite what we asked for going into the year. It was a roller coaster, mostly down.
Yeah, roller coaster with heavy gravity. I'm trying to think of some highlights. We beat Hawthorn. That's always fun.
That's good. Yep.
Then we lost to them in the men's and the women's later on, but we beat them once, and that's pretty good. We beat Essendon on Friday night. That was nice.
We beat a couple of teams we shouldn't have.
Yeah, Carlton. That was good.
That's right. We did.
Brisbane.
Carlton, I feel
should have won the premiership in the men's.
Yeah.
And West Coast in the women's. And
then we lost to everyone we shouldn't have.
Yeah. Hey, enough. There's our season review. There you go. That's it in a nutshell. We'll talk more in the Patreon episode, which there might be another one for the rest of the year. We haven't decided yet. We're going to have an on-air meeting but we have not had this many requests for a guest for a long time. An absolute favourite, freshly retired. So we're expecting her to be off-leash. Osh-leash, yes. Richelle, Rocky, Cranston, welcome to Danny Boyd.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
This is the perfect time to interview you because right now, all of the ailments and issues that anyone has in their career is the most fresh. So, and you also have the first time in your life, I suppose, where you've got full autonomy over what you say and you don't have to worry about someone tapping you on the shoulder during the week.
What are you going to do?
Is there a media manager for the AFLW who's like watching your every move?
Oh, I reckon maybe, but what are they going to do?
Oh, no, now you're fine. Yeah, I remember doing some SEN with Adam Cooney just after he retired, and he went buck wild. He was just so happy.
It goes both ways though, because like I've spoken to a lot of ex-players, particularly guys who are in sort of leadership positions, and they still sound the exact same when they retire as when they're playing because there's such a heavy like lean on them to be picture perfect, and then they just sort of buy into that character. And they keep going, and they can't seem to shake it when they've finished. It doesn't strike me that was ever really an issue for you.
I've never really been picture perfect. I've always spoken my mind. Probably got me into a bit of trouble though. So.
Good. That's what we want.
I still want to do something in football though. So
what do you want? Sell yourself. What job do you want?
I don't know. I think I have.
We need a coach
in terms of coaching. My job is CrossFit coaching, so I think that's something I really enjoy, and I think I have a lot to give in the football sense. So I might ease up a little if I want to work in football anymore.
See, I feel like this is one of the great opportunities as we continue to grow the AFLW is to just continue to shine the light on the characters that make up the game.
Yeah.
Because in the men's, we're at a point where there's so much money and so much pressure involved that they're never going to give you the full window into who they are because, quite frankly, if they did, it would be worse off for them than the otherwise. But I feel like we're in the position still in the W where there's an opportunity just to shine the characters through and give us a real sort of insight into who these people are that are playing our great game.
Yeah. So, Rocky, tell us, let's go for the start. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, God, all over the place.
Why all over the place?
Family are from New Zealand, so lived there growing up and then moved back here. So born here, New Zealand, moved back here. then I was in Maryborough for a while. So good old-
Delavadova
Yeah,
country.
yes, exactly. Went to school with him.
I ran into a kangaroo up in Maryborough not that long ago.
Oh, look, you probably run into a few there.
Yeah.
Do you know Carl Chandler? This
No.
is just for the comedians out there. Okay,
No.
cool. Play on.
So move on.
That's all right. There's a
So
play
from
on.
Maryborough, went to Ballarat to chasing women's footy, actually. So for North Ballarat.
What year was that?
Oh, God, you push me there. No idea.
Ballpark?
Probably 13, 14 years ago now.
Okay.
So a little while. Showing my
How old are you
age.
now?
I don't want to talk about it.
How old are you now? I'm older than you.
34.
34.
Yep.
Yeah. You're younger than Boyd. Older than Boyd, younger than me.
In the middle. So from Ballarat, moved to Geelong and then played for North Geelong and then Cats VFL and got drafted to Melbourne, Geelong AFL and then Bulldogs. So sort of gone around.
Yep. One of the main questions we got from our listener mail, I'll just say it now. What was the best club to play for?
Bulldogs.
And that did come from Nikki from West Footscray, whose last name is Callanan. So a lot of pressure on that one.
Mum, yeah, no, like I'm very vocal about that. I had the most fun at the Bulldogs.
Is that for real? You're not
For
just,
real,
you're just blowing
promise.
smoke?
You ask anyone that.
You should hear what she says on the Geelong podcast.
I have a lot of love for Geelong. Learnt a lot in Melbourne, so I had different phases of my football career. But the most fun I had was at the Bulldogs. They gave me a second chance as well. Like I'll be forever grateful for that, and met some great people. But yeah, I'm pretty lucky that I played at 3 great clubs. But Bulldogs was my favourite.
Which was your least favourite? And you can't lose here because as Dogs fans, we hate the Demons and we hate the Cats. So
it's a hard one because Melbourne I found difficult because I was still like not quite fit enough, still losing weight.
No, not about you. We want to hear about those horrible. What's wrong with them?
I'm getting there.
Okay, cool.
I'm getting there. I felt like I probably didn't have much fun at Melbourne. It was very serious, but hey, look, they're a great team and got some flag under their belt. So
Now they do.
Yeah.
They were serious for a long time before they were any good.
yes,
Just
that's
in
true.
all facets of the game.
And then I loved Geelong. Like I lived and breathed Geelong. I lived there. I loved it. But the way it ended, I really got a bad taste in my mouth from that. So I think in the end, least favourite would be Geelong purely because of how it ended. And it didn't really sit well how that all ended. But
For those of you of us who don't know that story
so
explicitly, what was
I sort of got blindsided with getting delisted. I wasn't expecting it. Like probably every other year of my career, I've always been worried about getting a contract, and that was probably the one year that I was like, oh no, I think I'm okay. Like I was leading goal kicker. Look, we had a terrible year, but sort of got blindsided with I had already been diagnosed with kidney disease, and so I was going through that, and then they were like, you're not fit enough, we're delisting you. And at that point I was
Grim.
I was probably fit as for me. That was my fittest I'd ever been was at Geelong. And then, they sort of just pulled out you're not fit enough, we're delisting you, we don't have a contract for you.
I hear this story way too many times across all different competitions. Why do you think that clubs are so bad at
That
delivering
conversation.
news? Like the hard one to have, because, I haven't been in that position, admittedly, but I always felt like if I was going to not play there the next year, I'd want to know as soon as possible to start begin to make plans. But so often it's left right to the last minute, everyone's surprised, and then it's really difficult to take the next step.
I played every game that year. Like I was never not up for selection, and leading goal kicker for the 2 years, and not there was many, but we were just so
leading
bad.
goal kicker, let's leave it at that.
No one cares about the number.
Well, they
It's just a
didn't
title.
have an award then anyway, so I never really got anything for it.
It's called the Rocky Cranston Medal.
That's it. But I was sort of just blindside. I did get this weird feeling on the last game we played up at Gold Coast. My head coach gave me a hug before the game and said, I just want you to enjoy this.
Oh, no.
And I went, what is going on here? And I was like, they're going to fucking delist me.
That's the kiss of death.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's the hug of death.
And I was like, I actually played a really good game, kicked 2 goals, and I was like, I bloody did. And I was like, I think that's the last time I'll play with a Geelong jumper on. And it was. So,
It happens too much. It's just like...
Well, there's no good way to be sacked.
Yeah,
No.
well, there is. There's worse ways.
I guess.
There is varying degrees of bad when you get sacked. Because like we've spoken about a few times on this podcast about Mitch Wallace's exit from the Bulldogs.
Totally. Toby McLean.
Worst possible scenario where you don't get told until the end of trade period, and you get sort of lingered on about, oh, well, you might get a deal, and then you don't, and then you don't have a choice, and then your career's over.
Yeah.
And
you don't get to say goodbye the way you want to. Or
I tell this to people all the time, right? So I got to do a retirement speech.
Yeah.
It went for all of like 3 minutes. And
I didn't even do one. I just cried.
And it essentially... all that I touched on was like, thanking the people that were there, and then I made a gag about, the.
Oh, it was a gag. It was a good gag.
Yeah, go on.
No, I said for those of you who are in the room, I need you all to understand you're the reason I lasted as long as I did, but not the reason I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And to the players, if you're thinking about renegotiating your salary, now would be a good time because I just put $2 million back in the cap. And that is like, and all I wanted to do was make sure people knew it was like, I appreciated them, and then I wanted to make sure that it was a happy moment because I was choosing to retire. Mm-hmm. But most of my teammates who deserved it far and beyond what I deserved to get that moment in time never got it.
Yeah.
And it happens because for one of two reasons. It's either the player's not, realistic enough about where they're at and they're not willing to accept the fact that, well, maybe I'm not up to it anymore, or perhaps my current position in the list doesn't sort of pay respect to where the club is at. And then the other side of it is the club just doesn't tell them early enough. Yeah. And they just get scared or, through fear or embarrassment, they just don't tell players early enough. And it really does my head in because it's such an important moment. And it is, to your point, like the reason why you said from the words that you just said about Geelong being the club that you like the least is just because of that moment and the way they did it. Mm-hmm. And that's happened thousands of times.
Yeah, I was just thinking, why isn't there a tradition of everyone who's been delisted and didn't get another contract, do a lap of honour before round one, just so the fans get a chance to say goodbye. Would you have done that? Obviously, you wouldn't have done it because you were playing for the Dogs.
Yeah, well, I was still getting bloody invited to past player events for Geelong. I was like, yo, I'm still playing. Leave me alone for a few more years.
But I would love that if Toby McLean got to, who is one of my all-time favourites, criminally underrated player, been on the pod a few times, but I genuinely do love him. And even, because I'm still a bit bitter about that as a fan, seeing Jordan Croft get the number 16, of course, it's his dad's number, I'm still going, nah, I'm not happy. I haven't had a chance to grieve or say goodbye yet.
And my opinion is the clubs and the professionalism of football that, in terms of where it is now, they stand behind and they hide behind that fact, well, this is a business. Yeah. But it's not a business when you're trying to convince young players to stay at your club and you're telling them they have to be loyal and they all should be appreciative and, gracious for the opportunity. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be. But you can't play that off against the fact that you will treat them like shit and just throw them out like garbage at the end, and then pretend like it's all okay by inviting them to past players events.
We're a family around here when it suits us.
No, we're a family. Just how many families are dysfunctional in the world? I always get this, and people go, "We're a family." You don't want to be a family. You want to be a high performing team. Yeah.
Things okay at home, Tom?
Yeah, mine's good, but there's plenty of families out there that aren't.
So you grew up all around there. Mm-hmm. You get to the D. So how old were you when you drafted there?
I've been 27.
But you're in the first season.
Yeah, so I've started at the start. Yep.
So what number pick were you in that?
24, which was a shock to me. I wasn't expecting to go early at all, if at all. And I didn't chat to Melbourne, so I had chatted to a lot of other clubs.
How big was the draft that year?
I think it was I don't know. Lammy went 142 or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, or she was.
But it's always hard to know, right? Because there's it's the sort of there's all the rounds, and then you get to the end and they start skipping, and clubs start skipping their pick, and then it keeps going.
They didn't have many skips in the first one. I know
140 seems like heaps.
It was first because it was the first one ever.
Yeah. But this was after the exhibition.
Yeah, so we only had 8 teams. Yep. You have I didn't even know how many we had on the list then, but. Yeah, it was just the biggest draft ever because it was the first one.
Yeah, of course. And it's from all age groups, I suppose, as well, right?
And then there was only a few skips, I think, because maybe Adelaide picked up Perko as a free agent and stuff like that. So there was only a couple of girls that went to the draft that didn't get picked up. Everyone was getting picked up.
I heard something. My brain is telling me something that the only reason we got Ellie Blackburn is because we got pick 2, and it was if we got pick 1, we would have had Erin Phillips.
And was it a toss of a coin or something?
Yeah, so that was pre-draft. So you had priority signings and marquee players, and I imagine they would have been in that realm.
Was there a toss of the coin somewhere?
It might have been. I don't know how they figured out that first order of how they picked their marquee players.
There's been a few gimmicks
because I wasn't in that.
AFL has done with the draft over the years. Because like we're in the age now of like draft night trades or whatever and all the points and stuff. But I always still remember in my years it was the mini draft, which was the 2 17-year-olds who could be taken and they were allocated to either the Giants or Gold Coast, but they could be traded away. And it was like Jesse Hogan and Jack Martin and Jake Stringer was like maybe going to do it, but then he broke his leg. And that was when Jager was taken, I think, in that mini draft. And it's like the AFL will just try anything to make this stuff interesting. Because for the most part, the draft is extraordinarily boring.
Oh, totally. You get excited seeing, people we pick Richelle Cranston. Did you have that? Did you have all your friends around you watching it?
No, not really. I didn't take it on because I wasn't expecting to get drafted. And then I think
where was it held?
Not in Footscray, in Docklands. I think at
Exhibition Centre?
Maybe. It was at an...
Go on, you remember the AFLW's budget back then?
It was
Gil McLaughlin's
I think it might have been at NAB or something.
Oh, it could have been, yeah.
I think it was.
That would have made sense. The banks would have been behind it. It could
get something behind it. But yeah, I couldn't tell you. I remember I could tell you if I drove past it, but it was a whirlwind and I was just not expecting much. I think Lily Mithen's dad was filming me because I was there with Lily and a few other Geelong girls. So Maddie Boyd, not you.
Uncle.
And Lily, we were all played for North Geelong and we all got picked up at Melbourne. So we all went to Melbourne. So it was pretty cool. But I was the first one to go and wasn't expecting to. They picked Lily and Boydie to go before me. So, yeah.
And all right, so you did all that. You played.
Did you say Maddie Boyd?
Maddie Boyd.
I thought she said Matty Boyd.
So did
Maddie
I. I'm
Boyd.
going, you mean Keith? Is that
Maddie Boyd.
This is
Madeline Boyd.
Yep. So she's played so she started at Melbourne. She went to GWS. She then came to Geelong with me, and then now's at St Kilda.
Boydie, Tom Boyd, you sitting there. Now that if some Herald Sun or Fox Footy journalist is listening to this, there will be tomorrow on their Facebook the 18 best Boyds and where they play.
I will never get over the cringeworthy headlines that my name has caused over the years because when I was getting drafted, it was
a Boyd in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
No, even worse. It was so I was coming back off an ankle injury, and they were essentially saying, "Oh, you might play in the grand final in the TAC Cup," and the headline was Boyd by grand final opportunity.
Oh no.
That's fantastic.
It's pretty good. I was very impressed. I was very impressed.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Say what you like about the Murdoch media. They do a good pun headline.
Oh, it was so funny. Speaking of the media, this is a bit of a divergence, but I was watching a clip today of Damien Barrett, who actually lives around here. I see him a bit. He was saying today, I was listening to the NFL guys talk about how the media gets access to them after a game. And, you can basically go and talk to any player that you want to. And the AFL just do such a bad job of it. Imagine if we could talk to everyone. And I was like,
roaming Brian.
Imagine if you guys did nice articles about players.
Yeah.
Then you might actually. They wouldn't want to talk to you anyway. Everyone would be like, "Come go into the showers."
Yeah.
In America, they have that thing where one guy from the Baltimore Herald Sun or whatever. He will cover the Ravens.
Yeah.
Travels
They're
everywhere.
called beat reporters.
That's the one.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
That's it.
But we've talked about this before, right? So every club, in our opinion, for the AFL should have their own journalist.
Yeah.
So who gets, more access, first breaking news, can do more character pieces, can be around the club more. We'd probably advocate for Steve-O just based on that he's a big Bulldog supporter. But what you'd get out of that is you'd get an actual relationship with the media from the club instead of this combative thing where everyone's fighting against each other. When, to be honest, everyone's on the same.
Would Steve-O, say we get Steve-O for this, would he work for the Bulldogs or does he work for the Herald
No, it'd be
Sun?
like getting a license or a access pass.
But what if he writes a negative, gives away...
Yeah, but that's his choice, right? Because the
how
club...
tense would it be?
That's what I'm saying. You want tension between them, but you want them to basically have some skin in the game that says, if you stuff us over, then you're not going to get the access mark that you would have gotten. So you need to build that. And look, he does it like that anyway.
That's true.
Like
yeah.
he plays softball a lot of the time, Steve-O, and then when he has to go hard, he goes hard, right?
So it'd be like the relationship between, if you've ever watched West Wing, CJ Craig and certain journalists within the press corps. You're both staring at me so blankly.
Oh, I watch House of Cards, and I know what you're talking about.
House of Cards.
It's the exact same.
I'm a very old man, Rocky. You went there, Melbourne. It was awful. They're a bunch of toffs. We don't like them. No, this is me. I don't like them. Then the Cats.
You did say we.
You've hated them as well, Boyd.
I do. Yeah, we.
Okay, yeah.
We at Danny Boyd Inc. are not fans of the Melbourne Demons.
No. In any way.
In any way. No.
And they're up for a big preseason. Just after the off-season they've had.
What do you? Well, has Clayton Oliver tattooed his foot again?
No, they just got. I've never seen a club get baked so hard for 3 weeks post-season. It was hilarious.
We did talk about that in the last episode. Then you go to the Cats and blah, blah, blah. Then you come to the Dogs. Genuine question from Danny from Northcote. What cultural differences did you notice at Whitten Oval compared to Casey and Cardinia?
Mainly the fun. Like the fun aspect of football was back. Like I'd lost a lot of love for football. Even that last year at the Cats, it was a really difficult year. And I've just gone through a difficult year with the Bulldogs and it was very different. So the girls' bond is really strong. So much fun, like probably sometimes too much fun. But like that, was it not this year, but the last year, we were made finals, but we were still just having a ball of a time. And that's probably the biggest difference for me. I just started to enjoy myself again.
Mate, I'll just correct you there. Made finals and were robbed.
Oh, right. Yeah. But we were always robbed. Always.
No, but sometimes more robbed than others. And that was particularly painful, that one. You have a kidney disease.
I do.
What have you got? This is huge.
It is. Chronic kidney disease. I'm at stage 5. There's only 5 stages.
So what is that? So is it terminal? Is it?
There's no cure for it, and essentially, I guess I'm dying. But I'm lucky enough to have kidney disease that you can go on dialysis, and the machine does your role of your kidney for you, and then wait for a transplant.
Oh, okay. So you're on a list.
Yes. Well, not yet. So I'm getting activated now. So I'm going through all the stuff that I've got to get a tube put into my stomach so I can connect to a machine that will do the role of my kidney but on the outside of the body. Got to do that. I'll start 2 times a day and then it'll go to 4 times a day.
How long for?
30-minute sessions each time. So that's not too bad. If I do it overnight, it's like 8 hours. So it'll just depend on what I've got on that day. If I've got like to do something, I'll probably have to do it overnight, but I'm really lucky I own CrossFit Geelong. I own the business. I coach like 9:15, 12:15, 5 and 6. So I've got all these windows to do it and do all my admin work.
It sort of like doesn't make a lot of sense really when you talk like I've got kidney disease at stage 5 out of 5. Yeah. Congratulations.
I've won.
You've
what do I get?
Got the green jacket on.
I
or
do
the gold
things well.
jacket.
I do things well.
And then you're also still capable of obviously being extraordinarily active in your job.
Well,
is it something you have to sort of be careful of?
It's gotten increasingly difficult, obviously why I had to retire. So I got diagnosed in 2019 when I was at the Cats.
What's it called?
Chronic kidney disease.
Oh, right.
There's no CKD.
It's Richelle Cranston syndrome.
Yeah, that's it. There's so many different...
You've got a medal and a disease named after you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm so glad you're laughing because I'm being
I have to because it's if you don't laugh, you'll cry, I guess. So diagnosed 2019. I was probably the fittest I'd ever been. Like I'd worked really hard on that, but lost vision in my left eye, which was like what's going on here? I was having a kick of the footy and my depth perception was just off, and I went like this, covered my right eye, and I couldn't see out of my left, and I was like,
were you seeing blur or just
like it was just all blur, like almost black.
Yeah, okay.
So then I went to the hospital, I went to the doctor, got a blood test, and they were like, your kidney function is at 20%. You need to go to hospital. I was in hospital for 2 weeks. My blood pressure was 240 over 160.
I never know what that
means. It's meant to be 120 over 80.
That's everyone?
So it's half
that's healthy. So mine was 240 over 160. So that's for someone having a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Like they were like,
I saw. So is it twice as much pressure or half as much?
No,
pressure?
I was like, my blood pressure, I had maybe years and years of undiagnosed high blood pressure, which attacks your kidneys, which is one of the causes. And
So you didn't copper an elbow?
No.
Okay.
I've had this has been a thing that obviously been happening slowly, and I just hadn't realised. But my blood pressure got so high that it popped the blood vessels behind my eye.
Okay, I'm going to go even dumber here. What high blood pressure, does that mean it's just coursing through your veins like really fast?
I think so. I think essentially it's just like your heart is just working overtime, and you're just. I'm always running at this high rate that I would have been years at that before.
And you wouldn't have even noticed because you're an athlete.
And I was fit as I was also on a high protein diet, which high protein diet is notoriously bad for kidney disease. So now I'm on like nothing, no protein, which sucks.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It sucks for an athlete. So I really struggled with that.
Sucks for any human.
Yeah, well, you're always hungry because my diet is pretty much carbs and fats. But yeah, I spent 2 weeks in hospital. They put me on all these meds to try and lower my blood pressure, and then said, look, you've got stage 4B, chronic kidney disease. So I got diagnosed at the very end. Wasn't sure what footy was going to look like. I don't make any red blood cells anymore. I'm anemic. It's like all these things. So yeah, so I was just slowly declining. I'm at about 12% now. So I've lasted longer than I thought, but I'm just not fit at all. Like I can't.
Oh yeah,
I can't do anything. Yeah, well,
I've seen your Instagram. Okay. You look awful.
I do okay. I think the fact that I worked really hard those first few years and I had a good base, and I love gym. Like that's my main passion. I'm always trying to work out, even though it's really difficult. So I think I had a good base, but yeah, I just couldn't. The last preseason I was running and I wasn't hitting any of the times, and I was like, what is going on? And I was absolutely cooked just running a lap. So I spoke to the club, and then I had another specialist appointment, and they're like, yeah, your function's getting really low now that you're stage 5 and you've got to start dialysis soon. So I wasn't even expecting to get through that season or play any games. Then we had the ordeal of our club doctor wasn't happy with me playing at all. So that was I was like knocking our head against the brick wall there.
This isn't Doc Zimmerman?
No. Although they did, coach. Yeah, they did work hand in hand a bit, and it was all, they're not specialists in kidney disease, and it's no one else has really done it. Like no one's tried to play with kidney disease. So I had to start, my potassium levels were too high, so I was at risk of having a heart attack. So I had to get on this disgusting drink.
I've seen this on your socials.
Oh my God.
You have to drink it every day.
Every day. And
it looks like, I don't know what bile looks like.
Oh, it's pretty close.
It looks like that.
I liken it to if you went to the beach and got a cup and scooped it in the sand and you had mainly sand. That's what I'm drinking. And that's what it tastes like too.
It's not as bad as I thought.
No, it's...
Yeah, that sounds better than bile.
Yeah, well, it's not quite that bad.
Is there, so how does this work in terms of your relationship with the clubs and the league, obviously, that you played in? Are they sort of still providing any support or access?
No, they were good. It was obviously a struggle. I had to go through, so I missed 5 games purely from, we didn't have a waiver sorted, so I had to go through the AFLPA. Wow. And we got the AFLPA lawyers helped me. They were great. So we had to get this waiver sorted. There was a little bit...
That's never on the injury list.
No.
It doesn't have permission.
Well, that was one thing that...
Our insurance won't let her
It wasn't coming out why... Everyone was like, where's Rocky? Why is she not playing?
We were getting questions as well. Yeah.
And... that's why I sort of made the video in the end, because I was like, look, here you go. That's why I'm not playing. Like, and even the commentators, I spoke to Jason Bennett the other day at the W Awards, and he was like, look, we were just sort of getting told you're ill. And then you'd come in, like I did come in 1 week, and then I got omitted the next week, but I failed my blood test.
Oh.
So, yeah, there was a lot going on behind the scenes. And
what does failed your blood test? You didn't have enough red blood cells?
No, so every week I had to get a blood test. 1 week I had to get 4 because my potassium levels, so I had to be under 5.2. I was 6. So that's like
Is potassium a performance enhancing?
No, not at all.
Element.
Potassium, it's so if I have too much, it's sort of the risk of a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
So the lower.
She did say that before.
Yeah.
I know, but
The lower the better. No, anything that nothing I was taking was perform enhancing. I wish.
No, this whole thing sounds like the opposite of performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't even know. Actually, now that I've stopped, like going to footy training, and I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. I don't know how I got through training. And then a lot of the girls would probably attest to how I looked, and they were like, "Geez, you're all right." And I was like, "No." But I'm here and I fronted up. I didn't miss too many sessions. But yeah, I definitely didn't get the best out of myself like I would have in the previous
I would say
years.
you did get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, well, I was there.
But your best was just not where it was previously.
But it was just frustrating because I knew how good I could have been, but I just never got to be there. I don't know. It was tricky.
How has the experience been of sharing this stuff with other people? Because I think there's a lot of social causes, I suppose, within the world today. Having gone through some mental challenges myself, and then coming out and talking about it, and sort of finding the pitfalls and promises that you can run into along the way. How's your experience been?
Yeah, I've always been pretty open about talking about stuff like this, and it probably took me a while. I probably sort of didn't give it enough credit when I first got diagnosed because I felt so good then. Like I felt fine, and I was like, whatever. But now I'm getting towards the end, and how bad I feel, and like I've got brain fog. Like I'm always tired. I'm wrecked all the time. Like even walking up a flight of stairs, I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard.
Sorry, we're on the first story.
Yeah.
We would have done it downstairs.
we're in Boydie's mansion, and she had to take up 4 escalators.
Yeah,
Well, if they were
Penthouse.
escalators, we would have been.
Damn it.
Penthouse. Where's the elevator? But just little things. Like I just probably took it for granted. And now that I'm quite sick, it's good to talk about though.
How common is it? Is there I imagine like everything with enough people, it's
so common, but it's just so undiagnosed because like I just got diagnosed so late because there's no symptoms. Like you just wouldn't know. Like
how could you know?
If you went to the bathroom a lot at night, you could have kidney disease. If you've got foamy urine, kidney disease. If you eat too much protein and like you're not some people gym goers, they'll eat like 1.8 grams of protein for body weight. That's too much, and it's like attacking your kidneys. So there's lots of different ways that can happen.
1.8 grams is too much?
No, per body weight.
Oh, per
so
gram, right.
If you're smashing protein, and even working out too much can affect. So all the things that I was doing, it can just affect your kidneys. But it's probably more, I think I read somewhere the other day that it's more common than breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And
is it genetic?
It can be, yep.
I don't like that Ken word you use.
It's just like there's so many different causes. Like it can be too much protein. It can be high blood pressure. It can be cancer of the kidney. Like there's so many different ways.
So this is why it's called chronic kidney disease, because it's everything.
It's literally so many different ways.
See, and this so appreciating there's no like the symptom thing is hard to get a handle on. Is there have you found that there's an education process going on around people getting somehow checked or tested at some stage in their life? Or
I follow Instagram on Kidney Australia. They're doing a lot of stuff on it, and they're doing a lot of oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? I've gone blank. But they're doing a lot of
raising awareness.
stuff. Yeah, raising awareness, and started doing a bit of work with them as well. They shared my video and stuff, and they were really happy because there's just no kidney awareness at all. Like people just don't realise. I know
we've got 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, so I've only got one that works. So when you get a kidney transplant, they just keep them both in, and then you just get a third one added.
Oh,
which
really?
I was like, only just found that out. I was like, that's crazy.
Do you know? This is a weird fun fact I know about an Australian performer, Michaela Bannis. She has 3. She was born with 3.
There you go. Well, give me one.
Yeah, exactly, Michaela.
You
what are
don't
you
need
doing?
3. You only need 1. So, yeah, I need one.
And you say one's working at 12%. Is that the one that's not working or the one that is?
No, so one is pretty much just gone, and the other one's at 12% function. So, not much left. But
wow,
I think once you get down to about 10 to 8%, you've got to start dialysis. It's good to start dialysis with a little bit of function left because you can still go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So when your function's gone completely, you won't go to the bathroom anymore. I was like, just learnt that the other day too.
Yeah. So what does dialysis actually look like? There's
a couple of different ways you can do it. So I think you can do hemodialysis, which is they build like a vein in your arm and you inject into that. It's a little bit heavier and harsher on your body. I'm going to do PD dialysis, which is peritoneal dialysis, which will go into my stomach with a tube. But the tube.
And what is the machine? Is it next to
So there's two different ways. You can do a machine and the bag's all connected to that, or you can do a gravity fed one that will like on a
like an IV?
It's essentially filtering your blood, right? Ish.
Yeah, so it does. You could put 2 litres
That's
in.
what your kidneys do.
Yeah,
Right?
2 litres in to filter it all out, and then it gets rid of the toxins, and you drain 2 litres out.
This is why I feel that's the big challenge of it. It's such a large amount of blood that you have to.
Yeah.
What type
then-
are you?
I have no idea. You know, I should know that because I need someone with the same blood type to give me a kidney. So
Well, they're not going to give you the wrong one, I hope.
no.
It's not going to be your call. You'll be like, oh, do you want this one? I don't know what blood type I am.
Doc Zimmerman's not an expert, okay? Maybe ask someone else.
I don't think I'd ask him.
How would it, imagine, Boydie, you going into CrossFit Geelong to have, you've heard that this is the best, CrossFit session you can have. You go in and the owner of the gym's like, yep, be with you in a sec, just having dialysis.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do it in the back office. I probably won't do it out on the floor.
I think you should do it on the floor. Like once you're comfortable, because like, I'm sitting here listening to this going, I think maybe not so much on the awareness side other than the work that you're doing, but I feel like you should tell this story to people. I mean, I speak at a lot of different businesses and I think they're craving some real life stories of people whose life has been thrown a genuine piece of adversity that they've had to deal with. Because so much of us go through life and we're like, oh, well, this little thing happened and it upset my whole week. And we don't know how to deal with it, right? Until you do. And then ideally you can deal with more strength. And it feels like you've been through so much whilst playing football at the highest level that you can. And, not to mention living a life and running a business and all those sorts of things as well. I think it's a story worth telling because I think people should know about what you've been through and
one of my
what
friends
you're
has
going to
always asked me to write a book. She said I should call it In Between a Rock and a Hard Place.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Talk to this guy. He's got some good leads on the speakers circuit. You get on that. You're the after dinner speaker. You talk about being an elite footballer with Richelle Cranston syndrome. There's no one else doing that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know if there'd be many athletes doing it.
No, it's good coin.
So
ask for cash.
And maybe this is just like the commercial side of my brain working.
That's all right. That's why we love you.
For you, like this is the perfect thing that you could,
the niche.
There's a story to talk about. Either write the book or get someone to help you write it. I wrote it myself, which was mainly
I could not.
Yeah. Depends what you want to do. But also, it is one of the most enjoyable. And I think, look, Danny, obviously the comedian side of things is you're able to go out and speak to all these different crowds and do your show. And it is one of the funnest things you could ever do. Like meeting all these people and telling them a story that is useful, or in Danny's case, making them laugh.
Yep.
Which is also useful, by the way.
Very useful story I have at the moment about my what's my current gear? Just about being bald.
So I mean, in Danny's good shows, he makes people laugh.
Were you at Moonee Valley Raceway for my corporate on Friday? Anyway,
no, I know someone who would have been that. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think you've got an incredible story, and I would encourage you to tell it because I can just imagine you hosting these events at your
I better work
your
on
CrossFit.
public speaking.
But see, you get someone to help you. You're talking just like you're talking now. People
I'll
would
ask you all these questions again.
Oh yeah, great. All right, let's go on tour.
And then imagine this. This is where we get to, right?
Yeah.
You are hosting it at your CrossFit gym, and you're sitting there getting dialysis, getting interviewed by Danny. That is like
a CrossFit
that's
class
hardcore.
going on in the background.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
That's
no, you're just sitting there just.
And if there's a bidding war for your interview,
Which there will be,
you say, all right, Caro, all right, Barrett, all right, Eddie Maguire, whoever, you have to get through a CrossFit session while I'm on
put
dialysis.
them through some pain.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and mate, charge $10 for footy fans to come and watch.
and whoever the idiot was who was saying that you were omitted, or whoever that idiot was who was putting the designations for the team for the week,
and a certain list manager at Geelong.
Coming for you, Benny.
All right, we've got to wrap up soon. We did get a lot of listener mail here, though, because a lot of these you've answered already. I mean, our old mate is Frode in Florida. He's one of our Patreons, but I just want to...
Worldwide, you know that?
He's a Norwegian
I know that name.
He's a Norwegian firefighter who lives in Florida, and he's mad for the dogs.
Good on him.
Can't wait.
We have such a diverse audience.
Too. How much time are you spending in the gym each week?
Well, I work there, and I'm there every day. Be 10 hours a day on Monday to Friday. I've got Fridays off, but I'm still going there.
And do you work out there, or like is it just whenever? Because you're there.
So I'll coach all the classes and clean the whole thing all the time. Oh my god, that's my main job. But
Glory days.
I train most days. But at the moment, I haven't been able to do like heaps of. I used to do brutal workouts. Oh my god! But now I've just sort of been doing lifting and strict strength stuff like that because I've just so cooked all the time. But I'm pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
I believe you.
Mordecant wants to know: did Ashley Guest ever give you hell for busting her eye up?
Oh, constantly, always. It was her own fault. Watch the footage. She hit the back of my head, so. I've just got a really hard head. Yeah,
I never got the temptation to headbutt the back of your head.
Oh no!
Not once since
that was cooked. That one. Oh wow, that was.
The one thing, my family aren't from. Actually, we are from fighting stock. Apparently, Northern Irish gypsies are pretty good at the bare knuckle stuff. Anyway, the only fighting advice.
Stuff that up.
The only fighting advice I ever got from my dad, who's from Glasgow, is you always headbutt with the side of your head.
Oh, there you go. Well, the back
strongest.
of my head must be hard because her face was cooked.
And actually, let me ask both of you. I mean, you when you come to the club, or a different player comes to the club that you've had physical altercations with, how awkward is it?
I don't know. I'm pretty good in like new situations. It's always a bit nerve wracking. I remember I had a chat with Moods not long ago. I think when I was getting shown through the club, she remembers going, oh, "What is this CUNT doing here?" I was like, and she's like, "Oh, but now I know I love you."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I had that many. Like, as in, who joined our club?
I've no idea. Yeah, but maybe at juniors or something, like someone you might have fought with.
It more happens. It more happens when you're going through like the talent pathway stuff, when you're like playing for your local club, and then you hate everyone that you play against, and then you're all playing on the same team, but. You get over it. It depends if you're one of the better players or one of the blokes scrapping at the bottom. I was never really down that sort of bottom end, so most of the time people were pretty nice to me.
All right, final one. It's just okay. Let's go a serious one. Daniel wanted to know: do you think did the AFLW grow at the right speed from a player perspective? Would you have held off for a few teams or done what the AFL did, bring in the full 18?
Yeah, it's a tough one because I love having all the teams, but then you're not playing everyone once, so it's not it's not great. I don't quite know if we had enough talent for that many teams, and then you look at the teams at the top and the teams at the bottom. There's a big difference. Yeah. So
what do you think's the biggest difference? I mean, above and beyond like game plan and all that sort of stuff, are we talking like there's 15 really really strong players in the top, and there's 5 at the bottom? I don't even know how
North Melbourne afford that list. Like, I'm like, how you got all those people? Like,
well,
we've got one.
They saved a lot of money before they got Clarko on because, one guy was the coach, the physio, the janitor, the CEO, and the list manager all at once. They didn't have anyone. There was not one person working for that club for like 3 years.
Well, that's how they did it. That's how they did it.
They were saving their pennies so they could, stock up the girls program.
We're all doing it wrong.
People don't realise this, but Glenn Archer's dad had to umpire a lot of their games.
Oh my God.
Okay, if we have to cull a few teams from the AFLW, do we start with Geelong first or Melbourne?
Oh, they're both going so good at the moment, and they play good footy.
No,
like Geelong are playing really good footy.
No, we don't care. No, this is where you play up to the Nuffy fans.
Yeah.
We cull Hawthorn. Can't believe they got rid of Beck Goddard. Anyway,
she retired.
Yeah, I know, it's so mysterious.
That sounds like one of those omitted things that you mentioned before.
A tap on the shoulder. We're not offering you a contract, so you should retire.
And she's awesome. Like genuinely, I would call her a friend. She's anyway.
Well, the girls love her too. I hear good things. So
very mysterious.
I was a bit shocked at that too.
This isn't a Hawthorn podcast.
Thank God for that.
Can you imagine the hell?
I mean, I've only played them in one final and we won. So that's all that matters.
Undefeated in finals, Tom Boyd. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. We don't talk about that enough.
Won a final.
It's true.
You're undefeated too. Final question. What is from Tianu? He's got a few, but I like this one the best. What was your favourite goal that you kicked?
I was playing for Geelong and I know,
Did she get confused again about which podcast
she has? Is that a symptom?
All right, I'll give you a goal from each team. No, I'll give you a goal from each team.
We don't want to hear the Melbourne one.
Oh, it wasn't even that good, so move on.
Right.
But the Geelong one where I handballed it to myself was all right. I didn't mind that one. And it was on, running away from Evie Gooch, and she's another CrossFit coach. So as soon as I kicked the goal, she just high-fived me and was like, yeah, not bad. So I enjoyed that.
That would never happen in the men's. No.
Yeah.
There's no way.
No, it was really good.
Because he knows if whoever was chasing you in this magical scenario, he's about to get abused by his coach straight afterwards for high-fiving the top position.
No, it was good. She's great.
It's so funny.
And then the Bulldogs one, probably that one I kicked off the ground that just randomly dribbled in.
Hey, set the scene. We all want to picture it. Who was it against?
Who was it? GWS.
Awesome.
Look at boy. Nothing
I think
better.
it was the Sealer, actually, because we only won by like 5 points.
Yeah.
6 points,
So
something
what
like
year? Now, where do we look up on YouTube?
Oh, God, I get really confused now because we had the 2 seasons in one. And then I was like, how many seasons have I even played for Bulldogs? I don't even know. It was round 1 of maybe 22.1.
It would be the first. Yeah, we did well in that.
And at Icon, yeah. And then I lie. It must have been the second one because we had COVID that first year when we got cooked.
Oh, by the Ds.
Yeah. But we just got,
Right.
like, after that, we were playing games every 3-4 days because we missed 2. So that season was interesting. But yeah, so that one was pretty good. But I enjoyed the left foot snap, my first goal this year and my first game back.
Who was that against?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Who was it against?
She's softballing you with compliments.
St Kilda, maybe? I can't remember.
That's fine.
yeah.
We like kicking goals against St Kilda too.
Yeah, that was a rough
Yeah, bunch of
game.
losers.
But yeah, just banged
that
it
was
on
the
the
first
left
one back at
and
Whitney.
went in. Yeah, it was the first one back at Whitney.
Can't stand them either. They're on the shit
Oh, St
list.
Kilda. Oh, totally. Let's cull them.
They
off.
bloody beat us.
I was there.
But
It was
everyone
awful.
really got around me because it was my first game back after not having a waiver, not passing my blood tests. Didn't think I was going to play. I got back, so they were.
Admittedly, I
great.
thought you were going to say everyone beat us.
No, well, they
West
did,
Coast did.
except West Coast. I
Except
don't.
West Coast.
Rocky, genuinely, thank you so much for coming on. If you want to hear a bit more of a conversation with Rocky, please subscribe to our Patreon. Starts at only $5 a month, but if you add more money, you get more stuff. You get stubby holders and Boydie's book, and
You can mow the lawn.
Where do I sign up?
yeah.
Patreon.com/Danny
Boyd Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
That's it.
Well done.
Which
I've
we
never
got.
looked it up.
What are you doing? Just don't say that.
I'm not listening to ourselves. I have enough time in my own head listening to myself on a podcast.
But yes, please follow Rocky. And if you live in Geelong and you want to get
Yes.
fit,
Yeah, we're going
God.
to tag the address and everything in the posts.
hit me up.
yeah, go down.
Great
and,
place to be.
And if it's just
How much does it cost?
I don't want to talk about it. Expensive.
I was going to say double
But
whatever
it's
you said.
Yeah, $100. No, I'm kidding.
well, whatever's hey, you don't-
Reasonable for CrossFit.
Damn straight. You're paying for the Wagyu T-bone steak
Exactly.
of CrossFitness here.
The elite.
Don't accept if then not too much protein.
Yeah, sorry, I brought
Yeah,
it
not
up.
for me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
I gave my childhood to that roar of the red, white and blue sea, and the knowledge that you had to love the Bulldog boys and me. 20 years on, I feel that longing hanging in September air. But the reason I go every week is to pretend you're still there. And they will find the glory one day, and I will throw it at your feet. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets.